G'day everyone, and welcome to my round 14 AFL fantasy wrap-up video. The buys are finally over, and yeah, what a crazy round that was. I was fortunate enough to avoid most of the carnage this week, but yeah, I do know a lot of people who copped both the Butters and Bruce injuries this week, which yeah, just sucks and goes to show just how much luck plays a part in fantasy, and it can definitely make or break your season, that's for sure. So definitely unlucky to those who had both of those players this week. In terms of how my team went, though, I scored 1784 this week, which was not too bad of a score. It was probably around par, I think, and yeah, my ranking also improved once again, and so inside the top 2,000 now, so that's nice. And yeah, my ranking definitely improved over the buy rounds, I think. I'll just look back at where my team was at round 11, and yeah, I was ranked 3.6k heading into the buys, so I jumped to almost 2,000 spots over the buy period, so yeah, it was probably a successful buy period for my team overall. Looking back at the trades I made going into the round, and they were Windhager to D'Ambrosio, Coleman up to Miller, and Gawn to English. So yeah, I was pretty happy with those trades. They turned out okay. Obviously Miller wasn't great, but he'll be good moving forward, and yeah, Tim English is going to be the number one ruck. Well, without Gordon Grundy, he definitely is the number one ruck. So glad I brought Tim English in there. So looking back at the team now, starting in defence, Sam Doherty 129. What more can you say? He is just flying at the moment, Doherty, and back-to-back 120 plus scores now, and clearly the number one defender now. You'd think, what an absolute machine Sam Doherty is. Jack Sinclair 101. A very solid score once again from Sinclair. He didn't have a huge game in terms of his impact, but he still managed to ton up nonetheless, so yeah, he's going really well. George Hewitt, 74. A bit disappointing. That's a couple of underwhelming scores in a row now from Hewitt, but I don't think there's any need to panic. He'll be fine, so I wouldn't go trading him out or anything like that. Patrick Parnell, 75. I think he had a 60-point first half or something like that, Parnell. He was absolutely flying, but apparently he copped a hit late in the second quarter. I didn't see the game, but maybe that shook him up a bit in the second half, but still, 75 is still a very handy score from a rookie during the buys, so yeah, well done to him. Massimo D'Ambrosio, 44, who I brought in this week. His score didn't really reflect how well he played, I thought. He definitely looked really comfortable running off half-back for the Bombers, so yeah, I think he should be a nice downgrade target for those who don't have him. Onto the midfield now. Josh Kelly, 73. He was very disappointing, wasn't he, Josh Kelly? He just didn't get into the game at all, and I'm not sure whether or not he's carrying some sort of injury, as yeah, he did look a bit slow around the contest. He was spending a lot of time away from the ball as well, so yeah, hopefully all is good there. And yeah, funny thing on Josh Kelly, it seems like whenever I haven't owned him in fantasy in the past, he's been pumping out 120s and 130s, and yeah, whenever I have owned him, he's kind of just been a 90 to 100 guy. So yeah, it's a funny story with Josh Kelly. Just can't seem to get on the right side of him, but yeah, hopefully he can bounce back. Tuke Miller, who I brought in this week, 90. Would have loved a bit more from him. That was slightly disappointing to, thought it was a good matchup for him against the Crows, so to only reach 90 was a bit disappointing, but that's what he seems to do so far this year. He's either an 80 to a 90 one week and then 130 to 140 next week. There's no kind of in between. So, yeah, I'll back him in to bounce back next week. Tuke Miller, he's a gun. Jack McRae, who I had the vice captain on this week, so I took his 148 as captain, and yeah, what a game from McRae. He was just everywhere. He was tackling. I think he had 9 or 10 tackles or something like that, and had around 37 disposals. So yeah, he just played an awesome game and definitely helped me this round to take his score as captain. And yeah, he's a clear top 8 midfielder, I think, now. So if you don't have McRae, I'll definitely look to bring him in. Ben Keys, 75. The forever frustrating Ben Keys at the moment. Yeah, over the last month or so, he's averaging around 85. So it's just very disappointing. And yeah, it's getting to the point where I'll have to look to trade him out in the next couple of weeks if he doesn't find some form again. As yeah, he's just kind of wasting a midfield spot at the moment for me, and yeah, I still want to back him in though, but yeah, it's getting really frustrating now with Ben Keys. He's not marking, not tackling, and yeah, just horrible to watch. So yeah, not sure what I'll do with him there. Zach Merritt, 95. He was okay, but yeah, he wasn't fantastic, and that's kind of how he has been since I brought him in a couple of weeks back. And yeah, the CBAs were okay this week. I think he had the most CBAs for the game, so that was all right there. But yeah, just doesn't seem to be hunting the ball as well as he has in the past. But yeah, he's got the Eagles this week, so hopefully he can post a big one. Tom Green, 101. He was very good once again, Tom Green. That was his second ton in a row now, and yeah, I actually have no choice but to trade him out this week, though, as yeah, you may have noticed that I actually have 9 starting midfielders in my team at the moment, so yeah, he would no longer fit in the team. So that was actually planned, though. I was aware of that, and yeah, the reasoning behind that was I was always planning to move Tom Green on, as yeah, he was before the last couple of weeks, he was clogging up a midfield spot, scoring around 75 to 80. So my plan was always to move him on, so I thought during the buy rounds, I obviously wasn't going to trade him out during the buy rounds, so I thought I may as well bring in a midfielder last week, which was Tuke Miller, who I really wanted. So I brought in Tuke Miller, and yeah, just thought I'll move Tom Green onto a premium forward or premium defender next week. So yeah, basically I just brought in that extra midfielder a week earlier, and I'll have to move Green onto a forward or defender if that makes sense. So I'm not losing anything there, because as well as good as Tom Green has been the last few weeks, he was definitely clogging up that midfield spot. So yeah, I was always going to trade him there. Cooper Stevens, 69. He was very good. His game time remains very low, so that was a very impressive score from Stevens. And yeah, he'll be a very good fantasy player in the future, Cooper Stevens. He's got all the attributes, he tackles, and he can find the footy as well. So yeah, hopefully he keeps his spot in the side, Stevens. Onto the rucks now. Tim English, who I brought in this week for Gawn, 114. He was fantastic, and yeah, he's just been awesome this year, Tim English. And at the moment, he's clearly the number one ruckman in fantasy without Gawn or Grundy. So yeah, if you don't have him, I'd be doing everything I can to bring him in this week, Tim English, especially against the Hawks. He could go massive this week. Caleb Graham, 42. He was okay. As I fielded 20 this week, his score dropped off of me, and I didn't expect his score to count anyway. So yeah, he was pretty good. Now onto the forwards. Josh Dunkley, 107. The standard Josh Dunkley game, really. He just gets the job done. Adam Treloar, 102. He was great, Adam Treloar, in that game. There was plenty of high scores floating around in that Giants Dogs game. It was one of the most fantasy relevant games of all time. I had about 8 or 9 players in that game, I think, and yeah, Treloar joined in on the fun, scoring 100 there. So yeah, he's a clear top 6 forward, and I'm glad to own him. Stephen Coniglio, 105. He's just bounced back to form in a big way ever since moving into that midfield and around the ball. Stephen Coniglio is just racking up disposals, and yeah, he's pretty sure he's a top 6 forward again now. So yeah, glad that I have Coniglio. Daniel Rioli, 80. I was happy with that score from Rioli, and yeah, I'll definitely take that from him. Obviously, I'll have to look to trade him out at some point, but yeah, the forwards as a whole are not doing amazingly well at the moment. So if Rioli can continue to pump out 75 to 80 for me, I'll definitely take that at the moment. Sam de Koning, 39. As I had 20 this week, his score also dropped off for me. So yeah, he's a key defender, so he's going to post some poor scores time to time. So yeah, no problems with that. And then Robbie McComb, 54. He had a slow start, but worked into the game in the second half. And yeah, I'll take that 54 from him during the bye rounds. So now I'll talk through what some of my early trade plans are at this stage of the week, heading into round 15. And yeah, obviously, as I touched on during the video, I'll have to look to trade out Tom Green this week, just because I have those 9 midfielders there now. And yeah, I look to trade out Tom Green to a forward premium or a defender premium. Now, I could move on someone like Ben Keys over Green this week, but I think with the ceiling Keys showed earlier on in the season, I probably just have to back him in over Green for now. So I'll stick with trading out Tom Green this week. But first I'll look to make a rookie downgrade just to grab some extra cash. So I'll look to downgrade Sam de Koning to a forward rookie. Hopefully a 190k forward rookie is named this week, as that would be very handy. But for now, I'll just bring in someone like Judson Clark. He's not scoring too well, but at least he's playing, so I'll just bring in him for now. Then that leaves me with plenty of cash to
actually upgrade Tom Green to any forward or any defender premium. Now, at this stage, I'm leaning towards bringing in a defender just because the defenders seem to be scoring much more and averaging much more than the forwards are so far this season. And so, yeah, I'm leaning towards bringing in a defender now. The two defenders that I'm torn between at the moment are Jordan Dawson and Tom Stewart. Now, in last week's video, I mentioned that Tom Stewart was someone I definitely wanted to bring into my team. Now, I was going to bring him in, but yeah, when Max Gawn was named out, I had to bring in a ruckman instead in English. So that's why I didn't bring him in last week. So yeah, Stewart's definitely still an option for me. And then yeah, the other option is Jordan Dawson, who has been very consistent so far this year, and yeah, has a nice matchup against North Melbourne this week. So yeah, I think Jordan Dawson is probably the best short-term option just because he's going to hold his price and he has a few nice matchups coming up. But Tom Stewart is probably the one that I want long-term and probably the player that I want on my side for the remainder of the season. Now, the thing with him though is, yeah, he didn't score well last week and he had that concussion the week before, so his break even is very high still. Yeah, 140 break even, so he's still going to drop a lot in value. So there's always the opportunity to bring him in the future weeks. So yeah, it's a tough one, but at this stage I'm probably still going to bring in Tom Stewart though, just because he's the one that I prefer to have long term, just because of his stealing and his ability to score at 150, which could just win you around. So yeah, at this stage I'm going to settle on bringing in Tom Stewart, but yeah, that trade is still up in the air. That could be him or Dawson or even a forward premium I could bring in as well. So yeah, that's trade still up in the air, but at this stage I'll settle on bringing in Tom Stewart. So now have a look at how the team looks now coming off the buys and after trades heading into round 15. And yeah, it's much better to look at now if all the premiums are back on the field after the buys. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how my team looks. The defenders, I got kind of top six defenders, bar a few. So I'm pretty happy with the defense. I think that looks pretty strong at the moment. Then the midfielders, I have 8 premium midfielders, a few weak links there in Ben Keys, Zach Merritt, even Josh Kelly isn't performing too well. So, but yeah, at their best, there's still 8 premium midfielders there. So I'm happy with that for now. Then the ruckman, I've got English and Cameron there. And without Gordon Grundy, there's basically no better 2 rucks at the moment anyway. So I'm happy to roll with those 2 for now. And then the forward line is where I'm a bit weak with Daniel Rioli there and a rookie in Robbie McComb. So yeah, that's where I'm a bit weak. But yeah, the only 2 forwards that I'm really missing at the moment are Bontempelli and Parker, maybe even Himmelberg. But yeah, in the end of the day, they're only really scoring 90 anyway at the moment, so it's not hurting me too much. Now, yeah, obviously I still have a rookie in my field, which is a bit annoying, but I think most people are still rolling with at least one rookie on their field, I think, for now. So yeah, I don't think it hurts too much. And yeah, I'm pretty happy for my weak spot to be my forward line at the moment. So yeah, that's how my team shapes up and how it looks heading into round 15. So pretty happy with it overall. And yeah, that's all for today's video, guys. Thanks again for watching. And as always, it'd be much appreciated if you could like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your trade plans are. I'm very happy to give a second opinion as always. And yeah, let me know what you scored last week. And also, I'm keen to hear how many rookies people have on their field coming off the buys. So yeah, let me know that as well. That'd be much appreciated. And yeah, thanks again for watching, guys, and good luck in round 15.